I loved so many things about you, but that was not the deal breaker. The deal breaker for me was God is leading me in this direction.
Yeah.
If I can't get someone who is willing to go with me in this direction, then love will not sustain. Will not sustain this relationship. And that's why I was like, immediately when you said me, I'll pack and go anywhere, I was like, why are we waiting for 5 years again to get married? Let's get married in 6 months.
Welcome, guys. My name is Purity Ashayo.
And my name is Shadi, and this is Honey Let's Talk, where we say when we talk, we make it better.
Yeah.
So today we are having a nice conversation. But before that, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
I know you've forgotten how to do this thing, but karibu sana.
You should have come with drum rolls, sukuti dancers, like you didn't do a good job welcoming me back. After how many years? 2 years?
2 years of parenting. Where have you been away? Tell us a little bit about the past 2 years. What have you been doing? What's happening in your life? Why did you abandon us? Tell us.
First of all, I didn't abandon you. I was still supporting you behind the scenes. I was supporting you behind the scenes. At least that one I know. However, I felt I needed to take a break to just focus on the kids. So the last time we didn't have 2 kids, now we do have 2 kids, a daughter and a son, and we're so excited raising them. So for me, I felt I needed to take a break to do that. Yeah.
So does that mean that when we have another kid now, again, you'll take a break?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why are you here? You should just stick to your lane and allow me to continue. Yeah. Anyway.
People actually missed me. People missed me. Just admit.
Anyway. Today we want to talk about something very interesting. And we're going to be beginning a series that will start from the starting point. And that's where you identified someone.
Yes.
And so what next?
So probably you're in a space where you've had different friends, and now you have one specific person who you feel this is someone who I'd want to focus on and build a friendship on. And I think that's also what you did, right?
Not really.
Admit, please. Tell the audience.
I had options. There were several options I was trying to figure out. And I think a man should have options.
I think so too. Even a lady should.
Yeah. For the ladies, I don't know. But for men, you need to have options before you decide. Because you're the one deciding.
Even me, I'm deciding.
On your end, you're just accepting. You're either accepting or denying. But it's my responsibility to pinpoint someone, and I know for a story is different because you chased me, but for a normal relationship, a man should be the one chasing, and then you should have options that this person, and then weigh his options and then decide on one, and then when they decide on one, they can now begin that conversation. So assume that this guy has already come, has already decided this is the person. Probably they're not friends.
Yeah.
Probably they've just started knowing each other, or they're in a similar space like we were in a similar program, we're doing similar things. We're in the same church. We're engaging the same things, and you start becoming now friends from there. And we want to talk about that. And we want to talk specifically, what is good friendship?
Yeah.
Especially if you've identified the person. What do you think for you as a lady will be defined as good friendship? And was our friendship good?
So I think for me, when I think about good friendship is there are no other. It's pure, genuine friendship. You truly want to get to know me as a person, and you truly care, but also there are boundaries in terms of you're not looking to date me yet. You've just seen I'm a nice person. I'd like to grow friendship or get to know this person better, just to see where it goes. So I think it shouldn't have.
No, but I don't think it
I've
should
already
decided I want to date you. Like,
you've not decided.
What do you mean I've not decided? I've already decided. That's why I've approached you. Remember I said there are options. And now I've decided this is the person. Now I've approached you and said, okay, can we be friends? Can we be friends with a desire for something more in the future? And the more is what I'm talking about now here. What kind of friendship? How is this friendship? Should we talk every day? Should we meet every day? You know, we're not yet dating yet, but there is an intention
to want to date.
Now
that's different, because then if it's now you're focusing on me, then I think the conversations need to be longer. We need to have more coffee dates. If we had only 1 or 2 once in a while, I think this is where we start to have that. And then if you had not known my friends, here is where now you start getting to know my friends. However, you are independent from me in terms of you have your own thing going. If you had work, if you had anything that's going on in your life, even me, I have my own thing and I'm independent in that. However, we start to do things together. So we go to events together, we celebrate things together. So there's a certain commonness in terms of now I'm in your life more than I was.
So it means there is some sort of independence.
Yes.
You have your own life, I have my own life. But also there's this doing things together that comes in. You know?
Yes.
If I'm going somewhere, I can call you, can we go here? And the big question now comes in now. Why is it important that before we start dating, we build this friendship? You know, because for guys it's different. We don't care about the friendship. We just let's start dating. You know, that's the goal. The goal is let's go date. Let's figure it out as we continue. Let's build the friendship when you're already in the relationship. But I know for ladies it's different. Because I remember when we started becoming friends, you know, I used to take you home.
Yes.
But I used to also take other people home.
Imagine, guys.
So because there is no clear, you know, distinction now. We're all friends. And there's no like exclusivity.
That time you were not exclusively my friend, if that's the word.
I had other friends. You had other friends.
Yeah, I did have other friends.
But now, at what point we transition, and why is it important that we become friends? First, from a lady's perspective, become friends. Then from that friendship we build to now, let's start dating. Because what I've seen, many experiences, people become friends and they don't know at what point they started dating. Because the friendship and the dating is kind of the same. It's just transition naturally. There's no a point whereby they sat down and asked each other, would you consider being my girlfriend? They found themselves now boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, so how is this friendship supposed to work?
I think, from our own experience also, I think there are things that we would get to know about each other when we were dating. And I feel as though friendship is needed before you date, so that if there are things I do not like about you as a person and as a friend, then I don't get to the next step of dating you. So if, for example, there are habits that you have, say, for example, I do not appreciate probably how rude someone is or how unkind with their words they are. And maybe that's a trigger, or that's something that I do not entertain, or sort of like it's a red flag for me. Then I think friendship helps me to know this there. But I think we are very quick to rush into dating. And sometimes I think we need a bit of time to be friends first before now I say, okay, I can now date you. So I can give an example. When we were friends, we took time to get to know each other's like family, you know, get to know like where I was raised, where you were born, how growing up was, as well as for me. And I feel like some of those things we needed to address and talk about in our friendship before we dated, as well as what you love, what you like, and what I like. And if, for example, I do not like, for example, going to events and you do, is it something that I'm okay with if we are to date, or is it something that I'm not for it? Say, for example, the work that I do. There are people who have different jobs that probably for them it's a red flag if they ever date such a person. So if I know and I'm involved and I've gotten to know what you do and I'm also passionate about it, then when we date, it becomes easier because then I know how to support you. So I feel like friendship is very important to know some of the things that you can be able to address at a level where you're not exclusive. There's nothing, how do I say it? There's nothing to it yet other than you're just friends getting to know one another. Because then when you start dating, then questions of, am I okay if we're in a house and we get married? Would I be okay with this and this and this? So I think those conversations should come later, having built on a certain foundation of friendship. Yeah.
But I'm thinking from a guy's perspective. Do you feel like if we are doing all these things that we are investing emotionally? I get to know your people, you get to know my people. We are going probably every weekend. We are out on an event. Or we are doing this. What will help me not invest emotionally to the point that when the time comes that I ask you, would you consider being my girlfriend? If you say no, then I won't be hurt. It won't be like a breakup because there was nothing in it. Because the experience that I've had in the past is whereby somebody is friends with someone, and especially ladies, they end up saying, oh, you are leading me on, oh, you are why are you calling me every day and there's nothing, such things. And I wonder, how do you build that boundary in a way that if we're getting to know each other and I feel like this is not it, you won't feel like you are hurt. You know where I'm going? So we are friends. Like for example, we were friends. You went to Germany. I stopped talking to you. You were hurt. I was heartbroken. You almost died.
No. Let me say it here.
No. Your family was calling me. What did you do to our daughter? And you see, we were friends. Me, I was wondering, what do you mean? Why are you hurt? Why are you confused about this? And we were just friends. You see what I'm saying? For men, it's easy to just say, okay, let me be friends with this person. But for women, it's kind of, I would say it's unfair. Because you want me to be friends, but yet when it's not working and I pull out, you feel like, oh, you are leading me on. Where is the line? Because it feels like it's a thin line between being just intentionally friends and leading someone on. Maybe there's someone who is watching and they're saying, me, I'm friend with this girl, but this girl feels like we are dating. Or there are expectations in this friendship, whereby if we are going somewhere, I have to show up. But I don't have to because we're just friends. And I can be a good friend and show up. But how do we draw the line? And how do we now transition from that to becoming something more?
I think for me, and I think you are assuming that I was hurt when
I have evidence.
You are assuming that I was hurt. I was not hurt, just so you know. I was not hurt.
You are crying every
Why?
night.
Because unless a man tells me as a lady that I am dating you, then I know for sure I will not try to put 1 + 1 together and say, this guy must be dating me. You have to communicate. You have to communicate. The guy has to communicate and say, I am interested in you and I want to date you.
But at that time, I had not communicated.
Exactly. So why would I have gotten hurt?
Even me, I'm wondering, why were you
However, again, your friendship, like we had started building a friendship
Yeah.
And of course, if you are friends with someone and things do not work out, there is friendship heartbreak. If I'm not wrong, there's
actually
nothing
that. Like that.
If we are friends and your friendship breaks, you won't get hurt. I was just hurt because of the friendship, but I was not hurt because you were not even thinking dating, we're not even thinking getting married.
Really?
Really? There was nothing like that.
Yeah.
However, I feel like many ladies, we get ourselves emotionally because as a lady, maybe I'm seeing the signs. Like I'm seeing you being very kind to me. You've taken me on dates while we are still friends.
But I've not said anything.
Wait, you have met my family.
Yeah.
You've even sat down with them. We've gone to the place of work with me. You even know my colleagues. I know your colleagues. Any place that you're at, everyone knows I'm with you. So as a lady,
friends.
No, but as a lady, if then you are not saying it but you're showing it, I could easily mistake it as you are actually interested in me, that you want to date me.
Thank you.
However, as a lady, I think the right way to go about it is, if it has not come from the guy that you are interested and you want to get to know me and you want me, you should not assume that you want me that way. However, then don't show the signs. Like, just don't show the signs.
Signs is I'm being a good friend. I meet you, we have conversation, I take you home, I meet your family. I'm just being a good friend.
You're being a good friend, but you have other intentions.
No, but
that
I've
are not pure.
Shared the intention. No, I've not yet shared the intention because I think as ladies, you want to put us in a fix.
How?
Because if I've not said that I'm interested, then you shouldn't assume that I'm interested until I say it. You should treat me as if we are friends until I say it.
Yes, and that's the ideal.
Wait. And if you feel like the guy is crossing the boundary, you should speak it out.
That's
You should
true.
say, we shouldn't be everywhere together because we are just friends.
Yeah.
You shouldn't meet my family because they will assume that we have something and we don't have.
Yeah.
But you see, as ladies, you don't want to say, you want to assume. Then when things don't work out, you say that you were led on. You could have stated it clearly. By the way, we are friends and you can't call me past this time. Because all of my friends, they don't call me at 10 and 10 p.m.
Yeah.
But if you allow me to call you at 10 p.m. and you don't say that this is crossing the boundary, then I'll assume this friendship is a good friendship.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the problem comes in for many of us. The women don't set the boundaries. You know, the men are just we want to be men.
You lead on.
We don't lead on.
Women.
We just enjoy that moment.
That is leading on.
If you're being led on, you should say, by the way, this is uncomfortable for me.
But you see, already as a lady, I am emotional. So you're touching certain parts of my heart that I'm like, well, this guy really loves me, or this guy really likes me. So of course I'm drawn to you because of the connection that I'm sensing, the emotional connection, the physical, especially if now I am physically attracted to you, then of course I'll be emotionally invested, maybe even unconsciously.
Yeah.
My heart is drawn to you. So even for guys, I think they should also set boundaries as well, because they are the ones who lead. So why don't you then, as a guy, set the boundaries and say, if I want you and I want to date you, I'll let you know. I'll tell you. I'll sit down with you and I'll tell you. Why does it have to come from the lady?
No, the idea is I will tell you, but I've not told you yet.
Then you say.
So don't assume that we are dating. We should not assume. I think the assumption here is what is bringing the issue, because if I assume that you want me, and you've not said, maybe you've shown, okay, And I personally, I don't set the boundary there and say, hey, by the way, there's this thing that you've done and it's confusing. It's like you're projecting something that you're not saying.
Yeah.
Is it that I'm seeing wrong?
Yeah.
Or is this what you're trying to project? You see, when you set the boundaries, it becomes clear.
Yeah.
But it has to be both sides, because sometimes...
Yeah, it has to be both sides.
Sometimes it might be you who wants me. Yes.
That's true.
And I show up, you're always calling me, oh, come, take me here, take me there. You're always telling me to come and do errands for you. You're always... And I might be confused. I'm like, hey, you're always doing all these things. As imagine if you are using me in that way, quote unquote, and then tomorrow you come and introduce me to your boyfriend. I'm like, but then this is my boyfriend. I'll be confused. I'll be hurt because I'm like,
why would you be confused?
I thought we were doing something. If I did not set the boundary, if I did not say, hey, by the way, you've been engaging me and involving me in so many of your stuff, are you trying to project something that is not what's going on, so that I'm clear that either you're saying, hey, by the way, I'm trying to get to know you because I feel like I'm attracted to you and maybe something. But you see, even me as a guy, if I don't set that boundary and say, hey, by the way, I feel confused here, we end up getting into something, then get hurt because there was no clear boundaries. Anyway,
so let me ask you a question.
Ask me, please.
Then how are we to grow friendship intentionally without being led on or leading on the other person? Because also there are ladies who lead on men as well. I don't think it's just one way. So how then do we grow, or what are some of the things we did to grow our friendship? Just to give sort of like some examples of what we did to grow our friendship intentionally, so that there's no assumption we have that maybe not. Yes.
I think one of the things is to set boundaries.
Yeah, that's number one.
From the word go. And say, by the way, as we've been meeting a lot, we've been having this conversation a lot, and we are trying to build friendship.
Yeah.
And we are friends. And you see me treating other people the same way I treat you. Because if you see, for example, we are at work, and you know, every time I buy a banana, I'm not just sharing with you, I also share with this other person and this other person. So it's not like, oh, every time I have something, it's me and you, me and you, me and you. Setting the boundary. Yeah. And here's the thing. Most of the time, people don't set boundaries from the word go. And I understand. It might look awkward when we're just friends and I'm like, let's set boundaries. It will look awkward. However, when somebody crossed a certain line, that's where you speak up. You speak out and you say, hey, by the way, yesterday you said something when we were having a phone call. You know, we're having a phone call, and when we are almost finishing the call, you said, oh, good night, I love you. You see, that seems very casual. Yeah. But yet it communicates something. If I don't speak out and say, hey, by the way, yesterday you said you love me. Please explain. What kind of love is this? So that I don't get confused tomorrow, and me, I'm also returning the call by saying, oh, I love you too. And then that's how people start dating without knowing they're actually dating. So the first thing is to set the boundary. And if you can't set the boundary at the word go, then when the boundary that you personally have, when it's crossed, then you can easily say, hey, by the way, I feel like yesterday when you hugged me, it was different. It felt different. It might be I genuinely hugged you, but you felt something different because maybe probably you're thinking about something. You can tell me, hey, by the way, when you hugged me, I felt like this. Hey, I think we should not hug anymore. And you see, that brings an interesting now question. Why? Because I feel like if you hug me and we're still friends, it's confusing me and it might affect our friendship. or you might lead me on and you're not there.
Yeah.
But you see, you can hug me and I feel something, and then I come and ask, hey, by the way, you hugged me in a certain way. Hey, and you are like, oh, me, I think we should work our friendship towards dating. That's very different, because now we know, oh, okay, we are in this together for the purpose of getting to the next
level. Yeah.
That's for me as a guy.
Yeah.
For a lady, I don't know.
I think one of the things that, at least what I remember about us growing our friendship, was we spent a lot of time together, but outside, like not isolated with other people, in the open, that is. And I think introducing or bringing you to my community and me to your community, I think that's also one of the ways you can grow your friendship intentionally. Because then people also get to see how this friend is treating you and how you're treating them. If you're with them in the open, or if there's no secrecy. Yes, there's the privacy of your relationship, but then there's no secrecy in terms of no one knows that you're even friends. So I think there is that. But I think the other thing was being able to differentiate the part where, okay, this is us being friends intentionally, getting to dating without me giving you, how would I say it? Without me giving you other responsibilities over what you can give. So let me explain this. So if, for example, I know for sure that I want to go shopping and I want to go buy clothes, me putting you in a space where is a bit compromising as a friend, then the friendship becomes a bit tricky, because then now the physical, I'm changing, probably I'm going somewhere.
There's confusion.
Yes, there's confusion. So I think there's also a place for a lady to know where do I need this person in this friendship, and where can I say, okay, this is where you don't cross the line. Still, we'll go back to the boundaries. But I think as a lady, also setting my own boundaries in terms of even my heart. So if for sure I know this person hasn't said anything, I shouldn't go ahead of myself to want to make sure that I'm wooing you to date me. So maybe telling you to come at wee hours of the night to come and see me, or doing certain things that I'm showing you that I really want you, even though I'm not telling you that I want you. And yet, really, we didn't have the conversation. So it still goes back to
boundaries.
But
there is, I think we're in a generation whereby women are very open about what they want.
Yeah.
For example, you have this guy, you want this guy. You feel like this will be the best guy to date, you know? And maybe there's someone somewhere who they are friends with this guy. The guy is saying nothing. He's showing all the signs of being interested, but he's saying nothing. What do you do as a lady? Maybe you can tell people what you did.
What do you mean?
But anyway, you can just maybe encourage a lady out there who feels like, I really want this person. I feel we have a connection, but he's taking too long to actually say what he wants. Assuming that probably he doesn't know how to approach it, or assuming that he's just there to enjoy the friendship without the desire to take me to the next level. So for you to at least not be hurt, what can you do to actually trigger this conversation of what are we? What is happening?
I think, again, I'll go back to,
you can give
I think as a lady,
Okay.
I think as a lady, I know there are parts of us that desire to get married and to get into a relationship. But I think it also comes with work. Work meaning there are certain things in myself that I have to work on as I pray, as I desire, as I write that list of what I desire in a man. So if, for example, as a lady, there are things that I've worked on in terms of I will not entertain a man trying to lead me on. I will actually communicate and say, hey, here is where you cross the line. So I think for a lady, it's to communicate. I think it's okay to call you out and say, what are you doing? Like you're not saying we are friends.
No,
but
in this situation, you want. It's you who wants. It's not the guy.
Then
it's
I
you
say,
who wants. Yeah. How do you say it? You take him on a date and tell him
that's a hard
I want
part.
you to date me, or how do
That
you go
is so
about
hard. I think it should come from you as a man. Even if I want you, I think I should wait for you to actually initiate that conversation, because the moment I initiate it, I cease to give you that leadership and that authority to actually do that, because you are the man in the relationship.
What if I'm not initiating?
So I will look like the man in the relationship.
No, but I'm not initiating. This guy is there. He's not saying anything. He's doing all the right things, but he's not saying.
I think then I could ask you through a question. Like,
Right.
you're doing all these things. What are you trying to communicate to me about the friendship that we have or the relationship that we have? Then you should be able to answer.
I'll say, me, I don't know, we're friends.
I know. Then it means you're also not ready to date. If you're not able to answer such a simple question, then
Maybe
you're
I'm not ready to date.
Yeah.
But you are ready to date.
If you're
And
not
not
ready,
any other guy. You're ready to date me. So you want to start this conversation.
I don't know about other ladies. Maybe we are different ladies would communicate differently. But I think as for me, I wouldn't communicate. I wouldn't tell you that I want you and I want to date you. I don't think I would. I don't think I have that courage to just say, I want you and I want to date you. I think I will give it time. If it's for sure meant to be and meant to happen, then for sure it will.
But the guy is saying nothing.
Then maybe
1
that's
year,
not the right person
nothing,
for me.
2 years, nothing, 3 years. You're just
then
friends.
he's not the right person for me. I'd rather continue being friends with other people.
Yeah, because this brings now the conversation of how do we transition from we've been friends, we've loved our friendship, how do we transition to being exclusive now and saying, hey, could we date?
How did we transition?
You transitioned me into it without me knowing. Anyway.
How did you transition us to? You should tell people, how did you transition us to?
First of all, our story is different.
It is. But we started, we were friends for 5 years.
Yeah, we were friends for 5 years.
5 years, guys. 5 years.
I think our friendship was good. And it has helped. We are now reaping the benefits of that friendship.
Yes,
in terms
that's
of
true.
We were friends without any emotional
attachment.
Entanglements.
Yes.
Attachment and and we would do things together. I'll meet your friends. We'll do things together. But at the point of, I remember when we were having this conversation of the transition is when I was going to India. And you're like, hey, so because I remember that night, was it the night or the week before, is when you got sick. You couldn't breathe because I was leaving. You were admitted, and me, I was confused.
But I was genuinely sick.
I decided to date you because you almost died. Anyway, no, serious things. So, in that transition was, me, I'm going here. I don't think I'm in the right place to date right now.
Yeah.
Because I was from a previous very long relationship.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
And I was like, for me, the question that I was asking myself is, if I dated this other girl for 6 years, 4 or 6 years, what difference do I need to see with the next person that I will date. Because I was sure the other relationship, that was it for me. I was like, this is, I even thought God had told me this is the person that I should marry, But that not working brought a lot of confusion in me, a lot of confusion in my heart, wondering, is it that I don't know how to choose? Is it that I don't know how to discern if this is it? And if we are going to start this relationship, I needed to know what difference will it make in terms of the way I feel.
Yeah.
Because previously I felt I was in love, I was all this. So love was not the issue here. And love was not the criteria that I was judging getting to another relationship. There was more than just feelings and love that I needed to think about. And I remember that time I told you, but then I'm not in a good place. Let me go to India. Let's see how this thing will play. Let's pray about it. You pray. I know you want me, but you pray. Pray. And then when I come back, let's have this conversation. And having gone for a few months, I came back again, we had this conversation. And yet, even when we came back, we were like, I'm still not yet at the point whereby I'm sensing this is it. And I remember we gave each other a month. Because we were like, we've given each other 5-6 months. Now again, you're not ready. We're going to give each other a month. And in this month, if you're not ready, then we know this is not the direction God is taking us. And I remember that time we ended up getting to the end of that month, and we met at Greenhouse. Is it a Japanese restaurant?
Misono, I think. Japanese.
There,
it was really nice.
And it's where now I ask, would you consider becoming my wife?
It was not
even. I asked you if you will consider.
You didn't say I said consider.
What? Oh, I said because you're already dating me, so I am in. I am all in now for this thing. But I remember the conversation that we had that day was not about dating.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. We've been friends for 5 years.
Yeah.
We knew
each other
in deeper ways in terms of I knew your family, I knew your friends, I knew a lot about what you do, the things that you want to do in life. But we were talking now about, because I had a month, then I was going to Philippines. So it was like, this we can try this thing out. But for me, it was for marriage. So we are getting married within the next few months. Yeah.
I think that's a thing you did. Like you said, I don't think you even said, you actually asked me to be your wife in 6 months. You actually said, like, let's get married in 6 months.
Yeah.
And you were so sure
that you were
gonna do this in 6 months.
You are leading me on.
No, I said
the past 5 years. So I was like, okay, I am in. I am right here. I'm in. You're the right person. And I remember my game changer was when I asked you, if God calls me anywhere, would you go? And when you said me, I'll pack my bags, I'll go, I knew this is it.
So where was that? Because you see, not to confuse, where was the love aspect? Like for you saying, okay, I really love this person. I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. Yeah.
No, the love was there.
Yeah.
But it was not the part of the criteria.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was not part of the criteria.
It was not part of the criteria. It was there, and I knew, because I knew that if I had loved someone else for 6 years, then loving someone else should not be what I'm thinking about now. Now that I love this person, let me go. There are more than that. Because there are other things other than love that sustains a relationship. Actually, more things other than love. So love was there. You are amazing. You're beautiful. I love the way you'd laugh. Your big eyes. I love the way you'd treat me, the way you talk to me, the way you engage me. I loved your friends. They were my friends. They became my friends. We were engaging. So I loved so many things about you. But that was not the deal breaker. The deal breaker for me was God is leading me in this direction.
Yeah.
If I can't get someone who is willing to go with me in this direction, then love will not sustain. Will not sustain this relationship. And that's why I was like, immediately when you said me, I'll pack and go anywhere, I was like, why are we waiting for 5 years again to get married? Let's get married in 6 months.
6 months.
Because that was the only piece that was remaining in this. Because we've known each other for
a while.
We've known each other for a while, and somehow we were thinking about it without thinking about it. Just like we meet, we hang out. I remember there's a place outside your place where we used to go and sit on the stones and just talk and just engage. You know, having an opportunity to just meet at that place every single time we'd meet, it created some sort of a thing for us. It's our thing. You know? Every time we would want to sit there. So there was the thinking about it without thinking about it, you know? So, and I think, transitioning now was a bit much easier when other things had aligned. Other than, again, I underline, other than love.
Yes, I think we did love each other, even through our friendship. I think the friendship was amazing. It's still amazing. It's actually the foundation of our marriage. Being able to genuinely just have conversations as friends. I feel like I think we really enjoy each other's company, that we love to have conversations a lot. And it was because of those years when we actually took a lot of time to talk. And I think it gave us also the opportunity to have more conversations than get ourselves in compromising situations where we are now torn between, we are friends, what's going to happen.
There's confusion.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us in this video. We hope to see you in the next one. And if you have any questions, please reach out and comment on our channel, and we'll be able to answer them in the next video.
Please like and subscribe if you've not done that, and see you next time.